Welcome back. So the consensus was that you wanted to do this one as regular videos because not everybody can make the stream, and I understand a lot of my European viewers and stuff often do not get to watch the stream because the only time I can stream is when it's about 3 a.m. So for this one at least we will do it as regular videos. Also, I have to give a special thank you to Artemis Wolf, who did not feel that the lack of avatar was suitable, so they sent me one. Which is fantastic. I don't think I shall use it all the time for everything, but I will definitely showcase it throughout this video and the future ones. So thank you so much for making this. It's really, really awesome and it looks great. And it's in the same style. So now Thirsty Shipper is officially just me. So we were about to decide whether our evening with Ford was complete or whether we were going to keep going into the forest. And of course, I think we should just let curiosity be our guide and keep on going. Let's keep this evening going. It's been good so far. There was Mothman. Yeah. Actually, I do have questions. You must stay in great shape if you do this all day. That is not where I thought that question was going. You see, the name is accurate. Right into it. You look good. You work out. Do you lift?
Ha! You know, actually, this sort of thing isn't part of my exercise regimen.
Ford turns left at the stone marker towards the sound of the river, and sure enough, after a while, it comes into view. The moonlight illuminates the water as you walk along it. It's romantic. It's a moonlit walk in the supernatural forest. After following the river for quite a few minutes, the shoreline expands into a small round lake in the center of a clearing. Overhanging it is a large flat rock, the kind that could be used as a less than effective diving board in times of emergency. The emergency being that one just had to jump into the lake. Is that foreshadowing? Is the dock Chekhov's gun? Is it Chekhov's dock? Now I'm worried. However, neither yourself nor Ford really look in the direction of the diving board. Except I clearly already did. He leads you towards the edge of the lake, where a relatively flat boulder could substitute for a bench, and the two of you take a seat. Break the silence. Ooh, what do I want to know? I have so many questions. Ask about the stars. Ooh. That's, well, I mean, why not, really? You ask Ford if he has a favorite constellation, and his answer comes faster than you expected.
Orion, an Ursa Major without a doubt. What about you?
Do I have the dog star? Serious. I like stars in general. Like, ooh, stars. Summer Triangle. Coincidentally, Ursa Major. I like what you like. No, okay.
It's of what's here.
Well, you must have good taste. Yeah, I do. Ask about the Mystery Shack. I'm curious. I am staying there for weeks.
Ah, yes. The Mystery Shack used to be my house, once upon a time. And now it's
a tourist trap?
I'm glad for what it's become as a home. I just wish it wasn't so offending to each of the senses.
That's harsh. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's cute. Ask about the other creatures. We are out late at night. Are we safe? You said to wait, but can I at least get a preview of what I'd be getting into?
Not content to leave them to discover yourself, hmm? Well, has anyone told you about the Gobblewonker?
You snort, taken aback by the name, but compose yourself when Ford simply raises an eyebrow. I don't think so. No.
Not even in the tourist guide? Does the office even read my letters?
Ford mutters to himself something about updating the tourist guide to warn against local dangers. He sighs with a frustration that's reserved for bureaucracy, but soon lightens up at the prospect of getting to introduce you to another strange creature.
Well, the Gobblewonker is a large sea creature that lives in this very lake. One could say it's our version of the Loch Ness Monster. My old research assistant apparently saw it at some point. He said it was large, gray, and scaly, with a long neck like a giraffe. You wouldn't have had any odd sightings yet, have you? It's only been 24 hours, but my own first encounter with the strange occurred shortly after my arrival as well.
Did I see anything last night? I don't think I did. Maybe. I saw Mabel stick kitten-shaped stickers all over her face today. That must count for something, right? Ford laughs.
I'll be sure to write that anomaly down once we get back to the shack.
Also, do you enjoy all the people driving by? It's really ruining the ambiance of this sweet, wonderful lake lit by the moon as all these cars just drive past. I do not live in a place as remote as this, unfortunately. Ask about his family. So, what is Stan like? No, we made our choice. I already know all this because I've watched, but let me ask him. What's Mabel like?
In short, a force to be reckoned with. She radiates charm and positivity, and has depths of determination I can only guess at. You'll find out for yourself, most likely. It's hard not to wake up one day and find yourself her friend. Perhaps you already are.
He wiggles his fingers spookily in the air, and you laugh. I don't doubt it. Let's change topics. Ask about staying. Are you really okay with me staying here?
Absolutely. I owe it to you after all. You helping me today, however, was not part of the plan. You're making it rather hard to settle my debt.
I think you did me a favor just by letting me come along today. The two of you share a smile. Ford looks out across the lake in thought.
Thirsty shipper, I have to admit, I didn't want to take you with me earlier today. I thought I'd be walking myself into an uncomfortable social situation.
So did you, to be honest.
And you did well out there. Not many tourists could handle that kind of task we just completed. This had the potential to have gone disastrously. I mean, a butterfly net against Mothman, easily a 3% success rate.
Sometimes the more Ford speaks, the less reassured you feel, until all that's left is a distant unease. You smile and nod anyway. The two of you sit in another moment of quiet. Night air pleasantly chill around you, until Ford again breaks it.
We should head back now. I'm sure Mabel will want to hear that we've been successful.
You stand and give Ford a hand up from the makeshift bench. Ford takes the lead again, and soon you're no longer able to catch sight of the lake when you glance back. Why does everybody have a loud muffler today? Did they all get together at a loud muffler convention? Just why? Ford gradually adjusts his pace to yours, walking side by side with you in companionable silence, all the way back to the shack.
Almost there.
You recognize from the incredibly flashy sign touting phrases like Mystery Shack this way and Sasquatch to your left that you were extremely close to arriving back at the shack. As you and Ford leave the tree line, you see the bright lights shining on the porch. You make out the faint outline of the kids' shadows as they run through the house and emerge in the attic window, and Mabel pushes it open, leaning out. Grunkle Ford, finally! You guys took so long! I had to cover waddles and macaroni.
Why would you do that?
I have my reasons. Did you get the thing?
Yes, and I'm coming inside so we can stop shouting. Thirsty shipper, come along. We've got a pig to save.
Ford strides into the shack, a man on a mission. You grin and follow, but not before taking one last look at the night sky. Yeah, maybe your stay won't be too bad after all. Back inside the shack, the grand conclusion to your expedition to the Mothman's cave is spritzing Mabel's pig with the newly finished deterrent until the poor piglet reeks of lavender. You see Mabel and Dipper head up to bed, looking sleepier than usual as a result. Something about lavender is so soothing to the senses that you crash out fairly soon afterwards, face first on your makeshift bed. There must have been more than that than lavender, though. A love meter! Ooh. I think we deserve a bit more love than that, but that's just me. Call the caterers. I hear wedding bells. Is that how this ends? Are we that thirsty? Huh, looks like this is actually working out. You wake up to a loud crash downstairs. Not entirely uncommon in this house, you're quickly finding out, but still disconcerting. More clatters and thumps lead you to the kitchen, where Mabel teeters on a short stepladder in front of the pantry. Standing on her tiptoes, she reaches as high as she can for a small yellow box on the top shelf. Pancake mix. Without a word, you go to her side and pluck the box from the shelf for her, placing it into her outstretched hand. Oh, thirsty shipper, thank you! Grunkle Stan put it on the top shelf for some reason, but I need some Mabel cakes. It's a breakfast emergency! She waggles her free fingers in your face, and you can't help but laugh. You can tell the house becomes more alive when this kid's around. Wanna help me make them? We only need chocolate milk, coffee, pink food coloring, and pot of gold O's to make this breakfast dream a breakfast reality. As delicious as that sounds, you're inclined to ask when the coffee comes into the mix when you realize the house is suspiciously quiet. Mabel, where is everybody? Oh, Grunkle Stan needed stuff for your car, so he went to go get Mechie Tech stuff. For that, I think Grunkle Ford's somewhere. He heard the abominable bro man was trying to steal soda from campers, so he went to help them out. Yep, that's where he went. Totally knew that. So they left you guys to make breakfast on your own? You don't know this family well enough yet to know if this is commonplace, so the idea of leaving two teenagers alone to fend for themselves seems fine. If one of the teenagers wasn't Mabel anyway.
Are they teenagers now? They do not look it. Are they teenagers in the fact that they're 13? 13, it counts. Teens in the word, teenager.
You still don't know how coffee fits into her Mabel cakes, but now you don't really want to know. Dipper attempts to hide the pancake mix from Mabel while she's grabbing the chocolate milk from the fridge. Apparently, he doesn't want to find out either. Mabel, while your Mabel cakes sound absolutely divine, why don't we... Quick, think of something so you don't hurt her feelings.
Go out for breakfast. Dipper, can you cook? How will that not hurt her feelings? Why don't we let your brother cook?
Let's go out for breakfast. Is there somewhere we can go out to get breakfast? We should really save the Mabel cakes till your great uncles get back. I know they wouldn't want to miss them. Smooth. That was smooth. That was some smooth operating. But I want to perfect my recipe. I have to get better at cooking and baking and stuff so I can survive out there in the world. What if in high school I'll have to bake stuff and people are better than me?
Okay, yeah, so 13.
Mabel looks very agitated, tugging at her hair with both hands. If I can't make the perfect Mabel cakes, I can never be on Bad Dreams Dining. I gotta impress Gerald Rambo and Thirsty Shipper. It's my destiny.
I love that fake programs is just gonna be a thing on our gameplay videos. It's great. Bad Dreams Dining sounds amazing though. Horrible for the people who probably have to participate in it, but amazing to watch.
Oh, I have to go with Dipper, can you cook? Okay, that didn't work. I thought we were very smooth there, smooth like butter, but apparently not. Maybe Dipper can help you make something different. We should save the Mabel cakes for another day. A more special day. But Thirsty Shipper... Mabel, still standing on the stepladder, reaches up and squishes your cheeks together, her wide eyes staring into your soul. Every day is a special day with Mabel cakes. You glance at Dipper, making a please help me and I'll buy you breakfast face. You hope he understands. Yeah, Mabel, I know you want to cook more since you're becoming an adult. Sure, but don't you think Grunkle Stan and Great Uncle Ford should be here to try them too? And not just me? Again, I already said that, but I guess it means more coming from her twin brother. Mabel hops off the stepladder and ponders her brother's question, lips pursed. Eventually she nods, beaming at you both. You're right, Dipper. I can't deny them that experience. You give Dipper a thankful smile over Mabel's head as she puts the ingredients back in the refrigerator. He grins back at you, rubbing the back of his neck. You wonder if he got that from one of his grunkles. That's clever now that you think about it. Great plus uncle to make grunkle saves time on syllables. And we all know that wasting time on syllables, it all adds up. You're gonna need that time for something else, and those precious seconds that you wasted on syllables will come back and haunt you. We should go to Greasy's. They have some of the best pancakes there, with like 3 different kinds of syrup if you ask Lazy Susan nicely. Yeah, it's not super far. Let's go. The kids are about to head out of the kitchen when you realize something. Wait, aren't you gonna leave a note for your grunkles about where you're going? That's right. Always leave a note.
Notes are important.
Oh, right. Good call. Dipper scribbles out a note for Stan and Ford and sticks it on the front door of the shack with one of Mabel's stickers. Let's go to Greasy's. The kids lead the way towards the town, explaining various landmarks and the wild and wonderful stories attached to them along the way.
If they're telling the true stories, you should be very afraid at this point and be back to thinking, weeks? Too long.
And this is where we saw those 2 ghostly old people.
In a convenience store? Strange, but you nod regardless. Maybe she just meant they were so old they looked like ghosts. What? We already said we believed. We don't need to be skeptical. We believe. We saw a Mothman last night. How is it that Mothman is fine, but ghosts are too far? Like, yes, Mothman I can believe, but ghosts? Ridiculous.
Though after what you've heard about Gravity Falls already, you could believe they were real ghosts.
That's right.
Dipper points out the diner in the distance, a log-shaped building atop a train cart, and the 3 of you head inside. You soon realize that the kids know just about everyone in this town. Several people, young and old, wave at them as the three of you find a table, and you get the feeling that they're almost famous in Gravity Falls, though you're not entirely sure why. They're pretty cute though. Mabel blows the paper wrapper off of her straw at Dipper's face, and he retaliates by swatting her with the laminated menu. An elderly woman in a pastel pink waitress dress comes up to the table, and you catch the name on her tag. Susan.
Hi kids and stranger, what can I get for you?
Pancakes, and all 3 syrups for me please, Lazy Susan. Same for me actually. Lazy Susan turns to you, notepad in hand.
What do I want? What will you get?
Everybody's having pancakes.
I mean, why not?
Why not? There's pancakes for all.
Another one, good madam.
Coming right up, sweetie.
That's right. You can't be a waitress unless you call people hun and sweetie. It's a rule.
Lazy Susan winks with her good eye, of course, and heads to the back of the diner. The wait for your food to arrive feels longer here than most, mainly due to Mabel and Dipper using their time to interrogate you. At first, it's somewhat intimidating. You literally crashed into their house and started hanging out with their great uncles, so they have lots of questions. Once the irrational fear of 2 13-year-olds, I was right, fades out, you recognize their interview for what it really is. They care about their grunkles.
Look, don't judge me. This could have been aged up to like 16. It could have been like Crossroads where they kept saying that people were injured and they never showed it.
If you do start hanging out with them more, they want to know as much about you as possible. Mabel's questions are somewhat nonsensical. So if you were stranded on a deserted island with no boat, no cheating, what would you take with you? While Dippers are more careful and calculated. What were you doing before you came here? School, work, both, neither? Did you know about Gravity Falls before you crashed into the shack? You immediately know which grunkle each twin takes after. Stan and Mabel, goofy partners in crime, versus the quiet brainiacs Ford and Dipper. It's an intriguing contrast, especially now that you're thrown into the middle of the bunch. But as the twins race to see which syrup bottle drips into their mouth the fastest, Dipper's blueberry syrup beats Mabel's classic maple by half a millisecond, you swear on it. You know that these kids do a lot more for their great uncles than just be cute counterparts. And here you go. Enjoy, kiddos. Let me know if you need anything else. Lazy Susan gives out the respective plates, and the kids go quiet, shoveling their food like they've never been fed before. Between mouthfuls, you get a few more questions about yourself and your theories on aliens versus which member of the M synchronized was your favorite. But the table is near silent as the 3 of you eat. That is, until Mabel speaks up through a mouthful of pancakes. So, Thirsty Shipper, if in a totally made-up and not real situation you had to pick who your favorite was, who'd you pick? Grunkle Stan or Grunkle Ford?
No. You can't do this to me. You can't do this to me. This seems too planned compared to her other cutesy questions. Dipper elbows his sister not so subtly, and she elbows him right back, wide eyes staring at him in a sibling-linked look you can't decipher.
Like, say you're in a movie. Like one of those weird movies Grunkle Stan watches on TV, with the ladies in poofy dresses riding horses.
Awfully specific, but you let her continue, taking another bite of your food.
You're the main character of this movie, and you got 2 guys who are both madly in love with you. Are they both already in love with me? I crashed into their house like 2 days ago. I'm just irresistible. It's the thirst. They can't resist all this thirst over here.
No, but if they both like me, then I feel kind of bad. Don't make me have guilt. I felt so decisive. I knew where I was going with this. Now I have guilt. It's too late. I'm on the path that I'm on.
This one doesn't mess around with getting right to the point, huh? But you can only marry one of them.
Why, though? Why? Why can't I have both? Why can't I OT3 it in the mystery shack? Let me have this. They don't need to know. They're only here for the summer. It can be a perfectly happy arrangement. It can be one of those triangles, but both of the points only go to me. There are many ways to OT3.
But you could only marry one of them so you could be next in line for the throne. What would you do if Grunkle Stan and Grunkle Ford were your choices? Who would you go with? Mabel, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, really weird. And kind of gross. Come on, Dipper. This is important information that's vital to my research.
She's Dorothy Ann now. According to my research.
What research? None of your business yet, but I'm still gathering other research. Mabel leans towards Dipper's ear to whisper, waggling her brow at you before she replies, in not a whisper, but quite the opposite. Research into how you're a huge nerd. And with that, Mabel catapults the spoonful of melted butter from atop her pancakes onto Dipper's cheek, with a very satisfying splat. Dipper jerks in disgust, but retaliates by smearing strawberry syrup onto Mabel's nose, a drop of stickiness plopping onto her sweater. Not her sweater. Ew, gross. You're gross. There's no vitriol between the twins, but lots of giggles and a few more various food missiles. Eventually, syrup streaks Mabel's cheekbones and some of her hair, and Dipper has a small piece of pancake stuck to its face. You guys are dorks. Maybe you're right, but we're twins, so it's adorable. If you say so, Mabel. Wait, quick, Thirsty Shipper, take a picture of us while Dipper's got pancake on his face. I have what? He swipes away quickly at his face, and after several passes, gets it off. Aw, I was trying to get more candid pictures of us. Mabel, you have syrup everywhere. Really? Ugh, then it would have been a perfect photo. Here, let me get it. Your hands are sticky enough. You get back up with napkin in hand and try to wipe some of the syrup off Mabel's cheeks. The excess syrup swipes off easily, but a good portion doesn't budge. I mean, maybe syrup as makeup is the next new look.
That's one word for it, kid. We wondered where you went once we came back to a suspiciously quiet house. If it weren't for Dipper's note, we would have been worried.
That's right. That's why you always leave a note. So that people don't worry because they care about you.
Sixer would have been worried. I tried to tell him you kids pull this kind of stuff all the time. Heading out unannounced, putting stress on your poor old Grunkle's heart.
He puts a hand over his heart dramatically.
All those missing hours of unpaid child labor.
Actually, the note wasn't me, but I wrote it. But Thirsty Shipper's the one who said that we should, so that you knew where we went. Both Ford and Stan turned to look at you, surprised. Why, do I look really irresponsible? Let's pull that avatar up again. I can't be trusted. I'm untrustworthy. Really? Figured these two knuckleheads dragged you here. Why not make breakfast at home? This place is at least a 50-minute walk from the shack. Well... You glance at Dipper, swiping his finger across Mabel's cheek and licking the blueberry syrup off. Mabel has a pancake in her mouth, chewing on it like a grazing sheep. I wanted to treat them to something, I guess. It's the least I can do. You're letting me stay with you and fixing my car. I thought since you were gone, I'd take these two out for a change. Also, Mabel was gonna make Mabel cakes again. You're just mad you can't even make toast right. Well, yes, I can. I burned it one time. One time! Dipper holds his syrup-tipped finger in the air, indignant. Well, Mabel wanted you guys to enjoy her Mabel cakes too, and since there wasn't much food, I figured I'd take them out. Stan snatches the pancake from Mabel's mouth and takes a bite out of it, cackling when she stands on the seat to try and grab it back, climbing over Dipper to reach. Aside from the kerfuffle, you catch Ford's eye. Was he staring at you?
Ooh, it's heating up in here.
As soon as he realizes, he quickly sets his gaze elsewhere, looking over your head and out the window. You'd say that he probably just shifted his attention, but his finger hooks under the high neck of his sweater and tugs at it. Because it's all of this. All of this. All blushing.
Well, Thirsty Shipper, I really appreciate you looking after Dipper and Mabel from us. It was very kind of you to bring them here.
I'll be back later, continuing probably a different outfit, but Baby Shipper just woke up, and that takes precedence. And we're back, several hours and one costume change later, and it's nighttime now, and we're gonna continue from where we left off, because I want it to be longer.
Well, Thirsty Shipper, I really appreciate you looking after Dipper and Mabel from us. It was very kind of you to bring them here.
Oh, it wasn't a big deal, really. I'm happy to help. That's me, happy to help. You smile at him, pretending you don't feel how warm your face is. Maybe it's just hot and greasy's. Ford looks close to the shade of his sweater. Dipper rumbles, ow, and you catch Mabel elbowing his side, waggling her brows at him. You're not sure why. Really? Are we that oblivious? It's quite clear what's happening here. Dream Grunkles.
Well, kid, if you're paying, scoot over, Dipper. I want breakfast too. Stanley, it's at least 12:30 now.
Grunkle Ford, that means it's time for brunch. Duh.
See, this kid gets me. Now let me in so I can get some grub.
Dipper moves to your side of the booth as Stan sits next to Mabel, and Ford sits at Dipper's side. Lazy Susan comes back and takes orders for another round of food and drinks for everyone, including Mabel, who decides she wants more pancakes. You're starting to regret offering to pay, but as Stan and Mabel try their hand at the syrup drip race with Dipper cheering them on, Ford watching with a wide grin on his face, you know you don't really mind that much. After the expedition to find Mothman, you accompanied Ford on a few other missions, so to speak. Oh, I did. Why did I not get to see these? I feel gypped. I want to see all of our expeditions. Examining various birds of the forest, including the questionable stomach-faced duck, who snatched your sandwich and quickly ran off, Ford in hot pursuit. What kind of sandwich was it? These are details that I need in my life. While he didn't find what evidence he needed, something to do with their digestive systems, you both decided that the stomach-faced duck flock were questionable. Not as questionable as the question quail, which he shows you from a scanned journal page, but still questionable. You asked why he decided the hoctopus was too stupid to study, but received a loud groan and too sticky as an answer. Valid point. All in all, your adventures with Ford have been more enjoyable than you'd expected, and you can't help but hope that you'll get to experience another one with him soon. You walk through the living room lost in thought about question quails and Ford's journal pages, and narrowly avoid slipping on a sheet of graph paper. Don't look! Oh, it's you! Dipper peers out over a book that proclaims DD and More DD, officially licensed campaign journal. He's sitting on the yellow armchair with crisscrossed legs, barricaded in with books and papers. He's got a lap of multicolored dice and half a dozen chewed pencils strewn across the floor, and one in his mouth. You look down and notice the floor is almost entirely covered in graph paper. Hi, do you need something? I know it's kind of messy. I should probably clean that up. Dipper looks reluctant to extract himself from his self-constructed fantasy lore prison. Is it a prison if he wants to be there? For it is a gilded Dungeons and Dragons cage. Here, I can do it. You look busy. You're about halfway through cleaning the floor before you actually start looking at what's on the various sheets you're holding. A fantasy map, some floor plans, and countless scribbled notes and calculations in the margins. What are these for? Planning something? Dipper is re-immersed in his planning. He startles a little when you ask. Oh right, no big deal. It's just for this great pen and paper roleplay game called Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons. DD and MD for short. It's all about fantasy worlds and statistics and swords, and well, it's kind of difficult to explain, but it's super fun. I'm playing it with Grunkle Ford today, so I'm just putting down the final touches on my dungeon. He's gonna be so stumped.
Stumped, you say?
Ford comes into the room at that precise moment, drying his hands on his trench coat.
Perfect timing, Dipper. I just managed to get the paint off of my hands.
Paint from what?
Oh, one of the gnomes came by and decided he'd graffiti the side of the house. Something about his rapper persona.
Can I learn more about that? That sounds really interesting. What's his rap name? I need to know. Little Nomeo. Yeesh. Oh, yes. It's even better.
Yes, I don't think Jay Nomizi is going anywhere in the music business. In any event, I see you've been hard at work. Are you ready for our game?
Yes, and oh, Thirsty Shipper, I can take those now. Thanks for your help. Ford looks like he just noticed you standing there for the first time since he entered the room.
Thirsty Shipper, glad to see you weren't too shaken up by our adventure yesterday.
You grin and hand Dipper the tall stack of papers, catching a glimpse of the stats for a knock-knock skull. Well, I made it back in one piece, right?
That's the spirit, though 90% of a piece would have been good too. You know, you never realize how little a difference 10% makes until you lose it.
Uh-huh, so how is the Mothman?
Shaken up. All in the name of research, though. I've seen it lose a few moths and come back the next week good as new. A process akin to cycling out dead cells. I would say we just expedited that process. No moral issues there. So don't even worry about it. Were any of you worrying about the Mothman? Was it keeping you up at night?
It wasn't bothering me.
Well, Thirsty Shipper, the game calls and I must answer. Stanley's bad if you're looking for him. Though, well, if you wanted to join our game, I certainly wouldn't object. I can promise a fun afternoon.
Another player? Yeah, totally. I can give you a pre-made character sheet to start, and dice. Shoot, where did I put my other set?
Don't worry, I've got an extra set.
Oh, they're both so eager. Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons. Me? I don't even know how to play. Oh man, there's so many rules. Where to start? I mean, it's really easy to pick up. It's even, like, kind of popular now. You're not sure about committing the whole afternoon to this game with Ford, though Dipper does seem pretty excited about it. But Stan's around too, and you wanted to go check on your car. Did I?
Well, think about it, Thirsty Shipper. Dipper, my boy, why don't you and I get things set up in the meantime?
Ford and Dipper launch into fantasy lore talk as they prop up a corkboard against the yellow armchair, pin up various maps and floor plans with important landmarks, and upend their pouches of dice onto the carpet. This is hard, but I'm committed. Should I just do one path? Stay the tried and true path and don't shop around? I feel weird about shopping around because they're brothers. I'm thirsty, but I don't think I'm that thirsty. I don't want to break up any families. Thirsty shipper is no home wrecker. She commits. She also saves. Thirsty shipper knows when to save. You know what? I would play the game. I assume he's fixing my car. I mean, this is actually a dilemma for me, but I would like to play Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons. I hear it's a hell of a game. Same bad joke twice. Woo! Great! Oh shoot, did you look at the plans earlier? Those are for Dungeon Master's eyes only. If I'd known you were going to join us... Don't worry, I didn't look. What a relief. No wait, what if you're lying to get ads on the game? Is that legal? Grunkle Ford!
What? I didn't hear. I was just categorizing these DD and MD books. How many volumes do they have these days?
Dipper and Ford put the final pieces in their place. The floor is encircled in a mix of propped up corkboards, books, maps, notes, and loose leaf paper. Ford unfolds a game board in the center of the madness. That's right. Into the mouth of madness.
Brilliant. We're all ready. Don't look so nervous, Thirsty Shipper. You'll have me here to walk you through it.
Yeah, okay, but as soon as you start playing these games, it's everybody for themselves. Unless it's a campaign, then maybe. But even then, depends how they're playing. Ford sits down next to the game board. He pats the piece of carpet next to him, inviting you to sit. And you do. Dipper sits across from you on the other side of the game board and unfolds an illustrated piece of cardboard, propping it up in front of him. He notices your questioning gaze on it and looks back at you. Oh yeah, this is the Dungeon Master's screen. It's just there to protect my secrets.
It hides essential die rolls and plot points from prying player eyes. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Prying player eyes.
Grunkle Ford's tried to look ahead once or twice and spoiled the narrative twist, and you were the only player.
I'm just making sure my dungeon mastering apprentice stays on his toes. You can never be too vigilant.
Dipper gathers up his dice in a pile next to the DM screen, ready to roll when needed.
Now, I mentioned an extra dice set, didn't I? Dice are an important, though by no means essential component of gameplay. No adventurer should leave the house without a set. I keep mine in the souvenir velvet dice bag from Dimensio, a local game store. Yes.
Ford retrieves a dark drawstring bag from his coat and empties it onto the floor, where dice of all different shapes and sizes come tumbling out.
And now for yours.
Ford pulls another matching drawstring bag from the depths of his coat.
They were having a buy one get one discount. Go ahead, take a look. These will be yours for the session.
You pour these dice onto the carpet as well. Metallic gold with the numbers embossed in black. Ooh, I got the good dice. Fancy. That's right. These are some bougie dice.
Well, I didn't have enough left to make them from solid gold. I was able to electroplate a set for fun.
Great, Uncle Ford. You electroplated those dice? They're so nice. That didn't mean to rhyme. Maybe you should be the one with the rapping career, not Genomizi. Genomizi. I don't know. Maybe his beats are really sick. Ford and Dipper laugh. Yeah, maybe not, but anyway, let me reintroduce our characters. Dipper clears his throat, settling into the Dungeon Master persona. When we last left our heroes, Miv the Meddling trapped the great elven wizard Vernon and the halfling fighter Tyros in a dungeon filled to the brim with puzzles, riddles, and brain teasers. To reach Miv and end this journey once and for all, they'll have to brave the dungeon's mysteries and escape with their lives intact. Well, living through the adventure usually helps, Dipper, yes. Dipper sets two figurines side by side on the game board. One is an imposing figure in flowing robes, and the other is much shorter in comparison, but posed with the will to prove himself. You suppose the former is Vernon, and the latter is Tyros. But what our two heroes find in the first room of the dungeon but a potential ally, just as trapped as they are, who will join them in their quest for freedom? Dipper places three figurines on the carpet, just off to the side of the game board. And you get to choose your character now, Thirsty Shipper. These are starters with pre-made templates, so they're good for short notice editions like this. Ooh, choose your character. These are good choices. Human bard, dwarf fighter, orc rogue. Ooh, yeah, orc rogue. It's calling to me. Orc rogue. That's right, stealth. That's how I roll. In the back. Stabbing from behind. I already proved that with the Mothman. Rogues can move around with stealth and know how to pick both pockets and locks. Be an orc rogue? Yes, because I don't want to go into direct combat. That is not how I roll. Dipper moves your figurine onto the board beside Vernon and Tyros. All right, what's their name going to be? Alex, short for Alexandrios. Alexandrios. Oh my god, why? Now I don't want this anymore. It's hard to say. Alex, short for Alexandrios. Alexandrios. I can say it. Alex, short for Alexandrios. There we go. Worth it. You hear Ford trying Alexandrios under his breath for a few times. Yeah, me too. We're actually gonna play. I'm way too excited about this. Look, attributes and inventory. We're gonna play dungeons, and more dungeons. I'll just call them Alex. Here's your character sheet. It's got all the info on it. Our heroes encounter Alexandrios. Our heroes encounter Alexandrios. Alex for short, in the first room of the dungeon. Alex, what's your deal with our main villain, Miv the Meddling? Ooh, why do I hate them? Miv murdered my family and now I seek revenge. Miv promised me eternal glory but left a dagger in my back instead. I just woke up here with a headache. Ford, help me. I was promised eternal glory, which means can I be trusted? Can I not be trusted? Should you ever trust a rogue who has been promised eternal glory? That's right. Alex explains how she struck Miv's ire, and in turn Tyros shares that Miv once bested him in a duel, an embarrassment, because Miv is a sorcerer, and sorcerers aren't known for their physical combat skills. In Tyros' defense, he was still young at the time. But none of this matters, because to finally face down Miv, they must escape. Ooh, fun! Behind you is a plain door. On the far wall of the room is a set of red doors, and to the left and right are old stained glass windows with weirdly familiar motifs on them. Yeah, they are. I recognize these motifs. I like this maple sweater stained glass window that's going on, by the way. That's very nice. Having woken up here with no recollection of getting here at all, you have no way of knowing which door you came in, should go out of, or even what direction you should head in at all. And now you guys decide what you want to do. You might want to look around first.
And by that, of course, we mean rolling a die to see if we can notice anything. The outcome of nearly every substantial choice we made is tied to the roll of the dice. I'll let you choose what to do here, Thirsty Shipper.
Then I'll decide for next time. That's right, it's perfect cliffhanger time. We're gonna come back next time and play dungeons, and more dungeons. Thank you so much for staying with me through all of this, the costume change, all of that good stuff. There'll be more coming. Let me know if you're enjoying this game still. Are you feeling the Uncle Ford route? Let me know all of your thoughts and feelings, and if there are any other random dating games that we should play. Just tell me all the things, as always. Thank you so much for spending some time playing this fun shippable fandom game with me. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. This has been Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Special thanks to all of my patrons' names on the side. There are, as always, new videos coming soon, so stay tuned, for there are as many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.